At the occasion of the annual press conference of Evonik Industries AG, our Chief Financial Officer Ute Wolf will now shed some more light on our financial performance during 2022. Ute, when looking back at 2022, I guess there's some drama when comparing the earlier and the latter halves of the year that doesn't really show in the aggregate financial figures.
From my point of view, the real drama was on one hand in the incredible cost increase that we had in our variable costs of 2.4 billion euros, and we really overcompensated that by price increases. On the other hand, we had to deal with skyrocketing natural gas and energy prices in Europe. So on one hand, we had to find alternatives how to deal with that situation. Now we are able to replace 40% of our natural gas needs by other sources of energy. For the organization, the second half of the year was clearly dominated by working capital management. So that was a big effort. And finally, we had a record cash generation in the fourth quarter.
So overall, did we meet our financial targets for 2022?
Against this background, I think achieving our EBITDA guidance of 2.5 billion euros, a little bit overachieving our revised free cash generation target, and finally delivering 785 million of free cash flow, I think are very great achievements. The margin at 13.5%, of course, is not at the right level, but it's also a technical effect when the sales are inflated by raw material costs that the margin then technically goes down. Nevertheless, we have to work on margin improvements in the next years. We strengthened our financial position by issuing another green bond, which was very well received by the investors. So that was also a very clear positive in last year. Room for improvement, although, is in the ROCE development, where we did not make progress in 22.
When looking at our forecast for this year, the range for what's arguably our most important metric, the adjusted EBITDA, is fairly wide. Is that a reflection of the multitude of uncertainties that we face?
Definitely. There is a lot of uncertainty about the economic development in the world for this year. Recently, the sentiment has improved, and the gas prices and energy prices in Europe have decreased again, although in comparison to other regions in the world, they are still very high, and we might also face competitive challenges here. But if you take a closer look at our outlook statement by divisions, you see that for specialty additives, smart materials, and health and care, we are rather confident that these businesses are resilient and will develop well throughout the year.
You touched on return on capital employed already, and you mentioned the margin. What, from your perspective, from a financial perspective, are the most pressing challenges that Evonik must tackle this year?
I think for this year, cost control and cost consciousness are even more important than in every other normal year. So that's definitely the case. Also, we have to set all levers in motion to improve the margin, to improve the ROCE. On the more longer term horizon, I think it is also very important to get the capital allocation towards the next gen solutions right. So that would be, for me, the most obvious things.
However, from April on, that will be the job of your successor as CFO, Maike Schuh. What advice do you have for Maike after a decade in this job?
Maike is a very experienced finance professional, and I'm sure she will set the relevant priorities. A more general comment to the organization from my side would be to be very conscious of capital employed, be it in CapEx or in working capital.
Dear Ute, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everything that you've done for Evonik over the years, and all the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you very much. It's always been a pleasure.
Evonik, leading beyond chemistry.